feet. Alright, on the left we have a 2008 KLX 450. On the right, a 1993 KLX 650. Older bikes, given the year is now 2024. So, yeah, decent bit of pedigree there. Both single cylinders, both 4 strokes, both water cooled. Yeah, sweet bits of kit. Both rocking a Cherbus after oversized tanks. I got the Barkbusters on there, full knobbies, all ADR, full road legal. ADR for Australia is means it's you got your horn, your indicators, your lights, your brakes, cables. Even the brake hoses have to be documented and sold and permitted to be on the road. Chain guards. You don't have to have a bash guard, but the 450 does have one. 650 had one, but pretty bad resonation, so moved it on. The 650 is running club reg with a couple of little custom mods over the years as parts are getting rare. And the 450 has stock header pipe and stock exhaust. So road legal, keeps the low down torque nice and useful. Both have electric start. The 450 still has its kickstart and has that option. The 650 has a rear shock and lower dogleg or link, which is off the R model, so the off-road model. Gives a lot more travel. So if it's on the side stand, it does lay down quite considerably. But gives you a nice level of travel and just options for adjustability when you go through going through the trails, or in this case, just banging down the road wherever you want to go. 450 stock suspension, heaps of adjustability. On the spec side of things, let's have a look. We've got the 450. They're both 5 speeds, both chain. As I said, electric and kick on the 450. Electric only on the 650. So if the battery goes, you're kind of in the issues there. On the 450 with the weight, you've got wet, or what they refer to as wet. So on the side of the road there, about 127 kilograms they're claiming. So curb weight or wet weight, 115 kilograms dry off the Americans, 253 pounds. With the 650, we're rocking dry weight, 145 kilograms, American, 319 pounds. Wet weight, 153 kilograms, 337 pounds. So much better there, I guess, as far as all that goes. Weight-wise, not too bad compared to, similar to like your, probably even lighter than, definitely lighter than your some of the KDM options, with this road legal being the 650, 690, 701. But Google that stuff for more detailed information. On the 650 size, 48 horsepower or 35 kilowatts at 6,500 watts. And on the 450 side, we have 56.4 horsepower, 41.5 kilowatts at 8,500 RPM. So pretty nuts when you get up there, kind of on point with the 450s. Essentially the 450-08, which is what we're looking at here with some sort of modern stickers and bits and pieces, is the 2007 KX450. So the motocrosser at that point, with road legal, I think they call it a WR or a wide ratio gearbox, so better for the highway. The way I've got it geared up, it'll sit on the highway quite comfortably at 100 k's now without revving itself to pieces. The 650, it's got torque for days, so you just, I don't do lifting of the front wheel. It's outside my skill set, but can be pretty awesome for people that want to do that sort of stuff. From what it's alleged or I've heard. Steel frame on the 650, aluminium on the 450. Crazy amounts of fun. The 650, it's just old school. It'll just go for days. Get out there like a 650 DR 650 or even the old SE models. Used to rock a screen on this, 18 litres, so many kilometres, so much distance, just awesome. Taken it to the track, had a little bit of fun around the track, but again, front forks are the L model, not the off-road model, so they will bottom out fairly easily, but again, it's a 650 single cylinder motorbike designed to do absolutely everything as well. And I think they were raced a little bit way back in the day, but again, back in the day, everything was raced. Harleys. We used to do the Baja 1000, so it is what it is. The 450, more motocrossy than, or trail bike slash enduro slash motocrossy than on road, but it will do it quite nicely. No ABS on either model, but again, 650 makes sense being a 1993, and the 450, we're only really starting to see those kick around at the moment. You can probably tell from the indicators of what dates them, being that they're old globe ones. Otherwise, just nice and good fun. 21 front inch on both for the rim, and the rear on the 450 is 18, and the 650 has the 17-inch rear, very common for that era. And also, I think the DR650 is the same, and a number of the current sort of mid-spec bikes. The BMW G310 GS runs a 19 front, 17 rear, which is very common for possibly trail wings and your dual sport sort of light adventure bikes of today. Here at the Wombat State Forest, so we're going to see how we go. Both bikes have since from when it at some point had speedo issues. It's been removed because they're big and clunky. And then with being here in Victoria, we've got to be bang on with our speed. A couple of kilometres over, and you've got some questions, serious questions and fines and stuff. So both are running Trail Tech computers. Got the Vapor on the 650, tacho built into it, temperature for the water and everything else. Whereas the 450 just running speed, the speed endurance. I think it's the Trail Tech Endurance, maybe. Apologies, probably should have had that in the forefront of my brain before I started filming. But essentially just a good bit of kit. They both tell you the speed. You can dial them down to the millimetre. Battery in there, illuminated at night, so when you get night riding it's a bit of an issue. Both headlights, not amazing for today, given what some of the bikes are carrying out there. However, more than capable of getting you out of the poo when you're in it. And maybe just go a bit slow, but again, being here in Victoria, we've got kangaroos, you've got wombats, all sorts of stuff going on, and you're kind of better off being slowed down. So less visibility, less speed, higher possibility of coming home in one piece instead of ending up binning it and having a bad day. To note, the 650, there was only a couple of years of those being made. Different parts of the world had slightly older or later date. I think there even some of them showing the 2000. However, I believe they may have just been models sold that year and not necessarily any major changes to them as they went. The big differences are either the L or the R model. In this case, a combination of both. The front forks that I had off an R model, being better off-road, more adjustability, they actually got sold on by a mate that used to own this bike in between periods of ownership I've had. It was in a motard model setup years ago, and just nuts for going around Australia or parts of Australia on that thing. Riding the Dominator exhaust, it was kind of fun getting that through COVID and seeing it travelling around the world and all the bits and pieces that go with it. It was travelling more than anybody else I knew of. It was kind of cool getting the updates on a random side note. It's got a beautiful note. Hopefully get some footage of that shortly. The 450 being a 2008 model, very little's changed between that model, 2007 launch date, 2008 being this example, right through to now 2024. So really long run. Not a whole lot changed, not a whole lot needs to change. Rear swing arm is different, as the models, it was the only major change they did around about 2010-11, with different rubber mounting points. So where the chain goes, less vibration, more reliability, roller, and also I think the brake mount and the lower shark fin might be slightly different. So if you are looking at bits and pieces, depending on what model you've got, just be aware that it does change. Kawasaki Australia and possibly other parts around the world, really awesome as far as going with the parts fish. So you can jump on there, put in like a 2008 and then a 2012, compare the model numbers, and then just see what bits have changed and which bits are similar and which bits are available. The 650, I was able to still get parts for it, and the bike's from 1993 through Kawasaki. So a lot of stuff's not showing now. One of the ways you can tell it's not showing or available is you go to their parts site and a piece of plastic's worth 1,800 Australian because it just doesn't exist. And unfortunately, that's one of the side effects of having a 650 of that era. And people still use them. People still love them all around the world. And it's pretty awesome from that point of view. 450 still available for sale. So just about everything on that bike you can go through Kawasaki and just get that. Not a big issue. This example's got the Cerberus or Cerberus bash plate, lightweight, carbon look, disc guard, and the tank. Bit of a fan. We'll go with handguards at some point, most likely. At this stage, you've got the original Renthal bars, bit of a sticker kit from bits and pieces, some of the original plastics, some of the later aftermarket plastics. I've been advised, I don't know the level of truth, but apparently Kawasaki never make their own plastics, so they outsource to Cycra or Pole Sports, depending on what it is. So again, if the company stops making it for them, it can be hard to get those parts, but if you see them, grab them. They are pretty cool. For both bikes, sprockets you can muck around with, have a bit of fun. 5-speed gearbox in both of them, so you've got some options. Both have heaps and heaps of torque. The 650 does ring a cush core, or a cush drive, sorry, I should say. I think your mountain bike terms there. Cush drive rear hub, so you've got the rubbers in there, also still available from Kawasaki Genuine. And good to, if you've got one of the older bikes, maybe pull it apart, have a bit of a look and see what condition they're in, because it can make a lot of benefits, less clunky, less noise. The 450 to note, if the chain, if the rear axle bolt is not really aligned square and the chain is loose, it will make all sorts of rattles. You'll think you've blown the engine to pieces, so it's kind of concerning. Further, the original front sprocket comes with rubber on either side, like a dampening sound sort of situation. I've gone aftermarket, I've gone to a taller tooth and taller on the back, so it's lower revving. However, it's also, so the 100 kilometers an hour is a lot easier for it if I want to bash around on the open highway. Again, being road legal, not a big deal. Mirrors, they're all stock standard. They work. I don't like getting tiny ones. I'm not a huge fan of the flip out ones. I realise there's some bonuses in the bush if you're doing some multi-day enduro. I'm just so used to riding on the road in amongst all the cars and the craziness that is out there, and so I always want to be able to look down and see a good mirror. If it's vibrating too much, then it's pointless having them, and if it flips over, it falls out of position again, I want to be able to look, see it, and know it's you know what's going on around me. That's just a personal thing. Again, both bikes, people would often have them just in off-road model or bush model, and make the absolute most of them. Yeah, single front, single rear, both discs. As far as the brake side of things go, they're pretty cool. These two examples have both got aftermarket levers on one side only with the clutch. Unfortunately, yeah, not everything's available. Because the Australian models are road legal, very hard to get the ADR or the Australian version. A lot of the parts are actually made just in Australia. So for note, Americans, you might want to reach out to some of the Australian Kawasaki dealerships if you're looking for a piece of equipment, wiring loom and such, to make one of your bikes maybe somewhere you can make it legal, but you want to work with it. Both of these bikes are set up with thermo fans. The 650 is running on, they're both running on separate switches. So the 650 would normally go through like a thermostat setup. However, Australian bush can get pretty crazy hot. Also in the city, you might want to turn it on just a little bit quicker, or leave it running after you've stalled or turned off without having to. However, again, no kickstart. Something to note, you could have a few issues there if the battery goes flat, obviously, because it's a big bike and it's going to be a bit of fun to push start that bad boy. On the 450 side of things, also it doesn't come with a thermo fan. They are prone or often reported to be overheating and temperatures going up through the roof. If you're in tight conditions or if you're in the urban environment on sunny days and you're not moving much, I've actually just got a basic little, I think it's like a $12 computer fan tucked underneath the left-hand side radiator. Left hand when you're sitting on the bike, so on that side, so sort of looking towards the front left-hand side. Plenty of room for it to sit in there, just zip tied in, stays. It's been through the motocross track and over a lot of jumps and bits and pieces, no issues. Little switch, I can turn it on, keep it running, doesn't draw much of the current, again with the kickstart, just nice. I'm not having to stress too much that it's drawing too much power. The 650, power for days. I've run telephones, I've run extra screens on there when I've been doing assisting in land searches and things like that, and you want additional equipment up on the handlebars, no problem, piles of output. 450, underpowered from what I understand or generally referred to, so it's not uncommon for the battery to just not be able to maintain for you. When you're out and going around, it's all awesome, and again, you've got the kickstart. However, low draw is good, so if you're going to plug a telephone in there, a GPS and other bits and pieces, or maybe some light luggage on the back and try and charge bits and pieces as you go, it's going to drain down. It's designed with bits and pieces sort of, I guess, off the shelf at the time, whatever the motocross scene might have had. And again, it's just they've just taken a motocross bike that I think at the time James Stewart was racing in 07, and then they've modified it, and then voila, you've got the 450r KLX. So pretty excellent. We've still got lots of graphics. My skill set of putting graphics on, not great, so we just kept it simple. Both bikes are rocking Motul oil, and other than that, it's just bits and pieces, mostly chain lubes Motul. The 450 got the RK cover on the side, just nice and shiny. The previous owner to me on the 450 actually got in from America a brand new left-hand side engine cover, so it's all beautiful and shiny. We've got a few plugs in there, bits of blue. I was going to do the Spokey Dokes as well and try and do a Cherbus theme with the green and the blue and have them both matching, but didn't quite get there. And yeah, there's ups and downs and all that sort of thought process. So just having a bit of a fun side of it. 450 currently, the modified rear end, all road legal, reflectors, indicators, and everything else. However, I can undo three 8mm bolts. Pop the seat off as well with 2 Allen key bolts, and the wiring loom just unplugs, and then with a couple of zip ties I can take the whole number plate and the indicator section off when I'm on a closed off-road or motocross. So today, being out here in the bush, we'll be staying on because we're on road and road legal. However, if I go to, say, City MX in Laverton or Park for MX in Broadmeadows, then I guess it's more sort of Camberwell. But anyway, yeah, I take the number plate and everything else off the back end because they're prone to damage, and the mirrors will come off, and I'll just cut laps. It's not uncommon to be the only bike that's been ridden to the track. Take the bits off, cut laps, do an hour or so depending on my physical fitness that day and time frame. Bolt it all back on and head off again with zip ties and bits and pieces. Eagle eye, you'll notice that on the left-hand front radiator, got a mirror mounted up on top of that. That mirror, sorry, apologies, I'm getting a little bit muddled up there. Yes, the mirrors are up on top, but you've got the horn. So the horn's very loud in the 650, works well. 450, it was a little bit tucked in and protected as an afterthought. I've mounted up on top, clears the handlebars. Can get hit with dirt and rocks, but I'm not that gnarly. I'm not doing races, and I'd prefer to have a nice, loud, easy to hear horn because I'm usually using it to let somebody know that I'm there when they shouldn't be coming into the same space in the urban or the city, and it works quite well. It's a fun note. If the horn sounds really weird, there's a good chance your battery's very low, so it's good to, if you haven't ridden the bike for a while, in my experience, either trickle charge or just get that battery charged right up. The electric start will just work bang on for you, no problem. But also then your horn's going to be at full spec, and indicators and lights and all the rest of it, and that's all just going to work quite nicely. That's pretty much it. You'll notice, yeah, bits and pieces. The 650 got a slightly modified battery box. Again, the original one was unfortunately damaged. Learning curves. I put the R model swing arm, which is a lot more beefier and quite a big, heavy design system and shorter. So it looks awesome. It works awesome. Unfortunately, that setup causes everything to crash into the airbox where the battery is. The R model doesn't have a battery. It doesn't have the electric start, so it doesn't need it all. And yeah, I learned that the hard way. It all got smashed out while doing a massive group fundraising ride out in the trails. So modified system back to the L swing arm, and it also has a push drive and everything with the battery and the shock and the lower dog bone, sorry, as discussed earlier, are from the R model. So getting that nice suspension, you've got the extra canister on the side with a shock absorber, so you can adjust it all up top and bottom, do all good things. That was all service prior to this rebuild. And game on, essentially. Yeah, so I haven't tried to do too much to it. Just keep it original, have a lot of fun, do whatever you want to do. So with that being said, time to get on the trails and see if we can have a bit of fun banging around this area and get a bit of footage. Alrighty, thank you very much.